Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon and I am a mom of 8 kiddos. We currently have 9 people living in our house and we homeschool. My husband is home most days. He is full-time in seminary, so he is busy with his own schoolwork. And we are very blessed to be able to take advantage of a free food ministry that is local to our area. Today's video, I wanted to share with you some of the ways that I am using some of this free food that we get from this ministry. So first thing I did this morning, I got a bag of fresh garlic from the free food ministry, and the reason it was there is because half of the bulbs were yucky. They had shriveled up or turned brown or gotten moldy. So I went ahead and sorted through all of it and peeled the good cloves of garlic, and then I put them into my food processor, and I just ran the food processor to mince the garlic all up into little pieces. I had originally planned to make a bunch of little tiny like garlic pucks to go in the freezer, but I only had one little tiny silicone mold for that. So after I got the garlic minced up, I went ahead and filled that little mold first, and then decided I would just use some like muffin tins for the rest of it. So those are a little bit bigger. They probably have 2 cloves of garlic per puck compared to 1 clove for the little ones, but they will work just fine. So after I filled up my muffin tins and my silicone mold, I used water to freeze my garlic in. Normally I use garlic in soups. If I am going to cook it with some ground beef or something, I figured the small amount of water that is in there will evaporate as it's cooking, so it won't be a big deal. I know sometimes people like to use olive oil, but I chose to do water this time. I got that one put in the freezer, and then I searched around my kitchen for a while until I figured out to use the muffin tins for the rest of the garlic. And I just filled a dozen muffin tins with the minced garlic, squished it down there as much as I could, and then filled those with some water. These only took a few hours to freeze, and I actually was able to use one of them that evening when I made chili for dinner, which you will see later in this video. My next project was this bag of spinach in the freezer. When we got this bag from one of the local food banks, it was already starting to turn yucky, and so I just stuck it straight into the freezer because we will grab a handful and use it when we make smoothies or put it in soups. But I decided, since it was taking up so much space, to pull it out of there and crunch it up. I started with my hands and then transferred it into the food processor. And while I was doing this, I really wanted to be able to freeze dry this. But our freeze dryer is not up and running yet. We have not gotten it plugged in, and it needs cleaned out before I'm able to use it. And I was running out of time this morning. We had a basketball game to go to. So I just ground it all up and stuck it back in a Ziploc bag, and then I put it back into the freezer so that I could either dehydrate it later on or be able to stick it in the freeze dryer, or I could just use it the way it was, but it's taking up much less room now being all chopped up in the freezer. So after we got back from our basketball game, I went ahead and got those garlic pucks out. It took me a bit to get the first one out of there, but after that they were really easy to just pop out of the molds. And I put the first one into the pot because I had started to cook our lunch. It was about 3 o'clock now, and so it was a late lunch and an early dinner. And I decided to make chili. Everything in this chili, except for those green chilies that you see, and the ground beef, came from the free food ministry. This is just such a blessing for us. I can make a complete meal out of almost all completely free food, and everyone enjoys it. Here I've just decided, while my hamburger was cooking, I was going to pop all those garlics out into a Ziploc bag to stay good, keep them from getting freezer burn, and to take up a little bit less space in the freezer. These silicone molds were easy to pop out once you just pushed on the back of it, and I got the hang of it. The ones in the muffin tin, I did have to flip them upside down and run some warm water over the bottom of my pan to loosen them up a little bit, and then I was able to just take a butter knife and pop those out of the pan pretty easily and stuck them all in my bag. As a large family mom, I am super busy and sometimes it's difficult to get dinner on the table. So I'm always trying to think of ways that I can make my life easier, and getting this garlic chopped up and frozen is just one of the ways that makes it a little bit quicker to get dinner ready in the evenings or even at lunchtime. I also have some freezer cooking planned for the future with a friend, and we are going to fellowship together while we do that and then be able to split the meals and benefit from all of our hard work. So I've got my garlic all in the freezer now, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started on our chili for dinner. I showed the ingredients earlier of what I was putting in, and now these are the spices. A couple of these bottles are just about empty, so I went ahead and finished them off, and then I just added in the other stuff that I had. Usually chili, I try not to make it too spicy or too much chili powder because my husband gets heartburn and the kids don't enjoy it as much, and so sometimes I just don't put as much seasoning as you would get if you were to buy the chili packets or whatever. But we like to have our chili with some shredded cheese, some sour cream. Sometimes people will put hot sauce in it, some corn chips or tortilla chips. I also like to put coconut in mine and enjoy it that way. I also really like some green olives in there, but we did not have any of those on this day, so I had to do without. But it turned out well. The kids all got their bellies filled up, and we even had some left over for another meal a different day. I was also trying to clean out my refrigerator as much as possible. We had a lot of leftovers in there that people were just not eating up, and so this rice was one of those things, and I thought there's only a little bit in here, we won't even notice it in the chili, so I went ahead and added that in, and no one noticed. Sometimes I do cook a pot of rice to have with our chili, and so it just kind of seemed like we were just having rice with our chili, and no one even said anything about it being in there. After dinner, the kids and I headed over to the rec center. The 3 oldest kids decided that they wanted to play basketball while we were there, so they spent a couple hours in the gym playing some basketball, and then I took the younger kids to the pool. The pool was very warm this day, so I was bummed that I didn't take my swimming suit. Usually I freeze, but today it was super warm. So thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye-bye.
We can't